All right, it says we are live, so check that out. All right, using a new interesting kind of setup here. I've never messed around with this, so it looks good. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the stream health to make sure we're not dropping any frames here. But what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. We're a little bit early today, about 15 minutes early. I was actually trying to get on here about 6:30, but was experiencing some technical difficulties. The reason why we're doing it a little bit early is because Nova gave me, well, Nova was very hard to deal with last night. She woke up in the middle of the night, and yeah, it was not fun because I got like 3 hours of sleep total, maybe even less. Not to mention, the night before I slept wrong and my neck is all messed up. So yeah, not a good night. So I'm running on E right now. I'm going to be going to sleep pretty much directly after this live stream, and I figured come in, do a live stream because we do it every other Wednesday, and sometimes I can't control when I miss it, but as long as I'm awake, I might as well do it. So that's what we're here to do. So what is going on, everybody in the chat? What up, Ryboe Nisi? Did you paint your walls? We did a couple months ago. It's been this color for a while now. Probably for like the last almost year, I'd say. What's going on, Mark Bell? How's it going? Evening. Jesus, what's going on? What's up, man? So, yeah, so I figured we'll talk about some plants. You guys can throw out questions, those of you that are in the chat, and, I'll do my best to answer them, as well as, any other general questions. But typically, these live streams are more about answering questions that you guys have because it's difficult answering, like hundreds of comments a week, so it's easy, a little bit easier for me to just do it, through this method. So, what's going on in HC Aqua? So it was really interesting. I did the video on the guppy grass recently, this past weekend, and I was kind of was shocked by a couple of people saying, "Oh, I hate this plant because it grows so fast and it's invasive and takes over my aquarium." And I'm like, "Wow, I thought a lot of people like the plant." So that was interesting. But let's see what's going on. Kimberly, is it normal that let's see, Synodornus petricola catfish hide all day in the same spot in a cave? Um, I'm not like, I'm not really up on catfish like that, but I do know that I have a pleco in one of my tanks, and I could say from the most part, like he hides when the light's on inside of like this wood formation. So, um, yeah, so I mean, I don't think that that's too out of the ordinary. Just make sure he's eating and swimming around and stuff occasionally. But it's common for them, I think, to kind of almost like hibernate in a way, not obviously too long. But what's going on, Clemente? The man Justin, Jake's here. You look cute tonight. You look cute too, Jake. What's up, Victoria? Nisa says, "Oh, that's what happens when you mostly listen to the live, I guess." Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, we painted the walls a couple, almost probably a year ago, I think. So it worked out good. We're gonna do kind of like this black wall, but we're gonna do chalkboard paint in our kitchen, and we have like, I mean, we have moderately tall ceilings. I would say the ceiling in our kitchen is probably, I don't know, 10 to 12 feet maybe. And so there's like this little tiny sliver wall that for some reason we can't demolish because, well, we could. It would just cost a lot of money. But because they, instead of ripping down the brick chimney to our house, they just boxed it in. And even though the brick chimney is not used anymore, it's just all within this wall. And unless I pay to have the whole chimney removed, I can't demo the wall out. At least from what I gather. I mean, maybe there's a way to like brace it going up to the second floor, but honestly, when the time comes and we want to remodel the kitchen, we will. But for right now, that wall we're going to paint with the chalkboard paint, so that way we could, have some cool stuff going on in the kitchen, I guess. What's up, Jose? Do you have any red roof floaters at this time? I don't, Jose, but if you want to shoot us a message, either on like email or Facebook or Instagram, we can special order them for you. We just kind of, you know what it is with the floaters is They don't last that long in the way we get it, so they kind of have to ship out within the same time frame we get it, within the first like week. Otherwise, they don't last. And what we were coming to is just, some weeks we would order just enough, and some weeks we would order more than what we needed because they would just sell out really quickly, or not sell out really quickly, and vice versa. So we just kind of stopped stocking them as much. But if you want red roof floaters, we could definitely order them for you, and then we'll just ship them out as soon as we get them. That way, or well, within our shipping days, but we'll ship them out, the next shipping day that we do, so that way you get it. Because it's just difficult, and I hate throwing away plants, also throwing away money at the same time, and I'm just like, you know what? The floaters, they do sell, but they're not like the biggest sellers, I guess. I mean, we sell dwarf water lettuce probably the most right now. And so yeah, and that we grow in-house. So it's all tank grown, but the red roof floaters come from our distributors, but we can definitely ship out. And they'll, as long as they get to you and are put in the tank within a week, they're fine. It's just if they go past that, then they just don't do well. So if you could only keep one plant, what would it be? Are we talking any plant or aquatic plants? I really like my what is it? My what is it? Bird's nest? No, that's the other one. Oh God, what was that fern? I just did a video on it too. Can't remember the name. There's a fern, a houseplant that I really like. Can't remember. But I also like my asparagus fern. So that's probably like my favorite plant right now. And my fiddle leaf fig tree. So between those two. And then aquatic plants, I really like Anubis. Probably say Anubis. Anubis you could do lots of cool things with. So let's see. C says, what are the plants that grow well in hard water, like well water with that is high in iron? Well, iron will just be good for any kind of tank, but Anubis, Java ferns, those do well. Water sprite, water wisteria, those can grow well in harder water. What else? There's some stem plants too. I think Ludwigias can grow in hard water as well. And guppy grass too. From from my most recent video, you could do that too. Looking for red root floaters and mosaic floaters. Mosaic we won't have until March. So if you are looking for mosaic plants, look at the website in March. We'll have them on there. If you want, you could go to the item on our website and actually put in your email so you're notified the moment that we update the inventory for that plant, and then that way you get kind of first crack at it. Do you know any plants that do well in brackish water? So brackish water is tough because I personally haven't experimented, but I can give you suggestions based on my research. So research that I've done has said Java ferns, Anubis, the guppy grass, like I did a video on recently, is really good in brackish water as well. Some valves can work, and water spray as well. Those are the kind of like the easy, hardy plants to go, and then like you see if those grow and do well, then you can like go to other things and try from there. You're welcome, Jose. Michael said, Michael, right? Michael says, do you recommend doing dry start with hairgrass, with a hairgrass carpet, or just flooding the tank after planting? So that really depends. If you are starting with only a little bit of the hairgrass and you really want to grow out a carpet, dry start method is going to get you there faster. Now, if you buy a lot of plants and you plant them, plant it pretty thick, then it'll just grow in, from when you flood it. You don't necessarily need to do the dry start method then. And really, dwarf hairgrass anyway, as a carpet, that's a more difficult plant than most other kind of carpeting plants. So as long as you have good light and CO2, you'd probably be fine with just flooding it. But like I said, if you're only starting out with like one or two pieces and you really want it to fill out, do a dry start method, it'll grow out a lot faster. But then just keep in mind, it will probably have some melt back once you flood, but at least it'll be well established by then. Let's see. Hi, do you have any ideas what causes a red/orange colored algae? That's interesting. I don't know. In freshwater, that's strange. I don't recall ever seeing a red/orange colored algae. I have seen one person, and we still have never figured it out. This guy, who was it? Somebody showed me a picture of a tank with like purple algae. It was a freshwater tank, so it wasn't like a saltwater algae or anything like that. And it was like this purple spotting that just formed on things, and it was just like really weird, and we couldn't figure out. And I even to this day, I don't think we ever figured out what it was. And it just kind of stuck around. He wasn't able to get rid of it. I mean, it wasn't doing anything bad, at least from what he could tell. But yeah. But as far as like a red slash orange colored algae in freshwater, no idea. I mean, you could probably point to the regular signs of too much light, not enough light, too not enough water changes possibly going on, and yeah. I bought some Slovenia and I thought I was dying, not just melting, but it seemed like it wasn't going to make it, and now I'm stuck with two tanks densely covered in layers of snail-infested plant. Suggestions. Well, Victoria, if it's growing out really well, I mean, I would suggest trying to sell it, possibly on local Facebook groups. If you just want to get rid of a ton of it, I mean, I can't give you obviously what it would be worth, to a hobbyist, but I could give you a couple dollars if it's a lot, and we would probably take it because tank grown stuff we like. But obviously, like say it sold for I don't know $5 a cup, I'd probably only be able to give you like $2 because obviously I have to sell it for that same $5. So I have to make some money off of it. But I would try selling it to hobbyists. Maybe bringing it to your local fish store, seeing if they want it, maybe for some store credit. Sometimes they'll do that. Other than that, if you have a garden, it's good nutrients. You can like mulch it basically, throw it out in a garden or a potted plant and let it break down naturally, and it'll give your, it's like natural fertilizer basically. Jose says, I'm setting up a new aquarium in about a month, and I've been, let's see, I've been searching for an Echinodoros purple night sword plant. Do you know it? Do you have it? I only see tissue cultures out here. And Jake responds, you'll have to get it from a hobbyist. Usually there is only tissue cultures for that plant. Yeah, I've actually never heard or seen of that plant, but Jake actually works for me, and he handles most of the plant sides of the business nowadays. And so he would be the person to ask. So yeah, if he's saying hobbyist, probably your best bet to check out hobbyist. With that said, though, we do have other sword plants like clinobars and reddish swords. Some will get almost like that purpley hue or pinkish hue. So it really just depends. Also on your light. If you have a really powerful light, a lot of the red plants will actually get like dark purples and whatnot. So it's really a matter of what you're using. But yeah, we had this one sword that we got in from one of our suppliers. It was called the Haiti Pearl, I think. That was a really nice sword because it was really short, compact. I think I did a video on it at some point. We don't really have it anymore, but I can special order if I need to. We're also, well, on the topic, we're also gonna probably be bringing in. Actually, now that I think about it, I gotta probably send in the order soon. We're probably gonna be bringing in some Tropica plants from Tropica because we Aquatic Experience. I talked with one of the reps, and me and Jake have been kind of working on an order that we're going to be submitting soon. So we're going to have some Tropica plants, and I don't know how well they're going to sell. I will say, I looked at what they brought to the show and like their standard plants that they would ship out to us, and there's significantly more plants per pot. So, the standard plant that we would sell, let's just say a crypt, depending on the crypt, could have about like anywhere between 3 to maybe 5 plants in it if it's a well grown out pot, and we have to sell those for around $7 to just kind of make a small amount of profit. That's like just barely making a little bit, and but Tropica, the thing is they're more expensive, but their pots, like where the crypt that we would get is 3 to 5 plants, there was like 8 to 10 plants in the pot, maybe even more. So it'd be like a couple dollars more. It wouldn't be double the price, at least not on like the same sort of thing. So like crypts, I think I calculated that would be like around $10 or $11. So you're paying $4 more, but you're getting double. So and they're really well grown from what it looks like. So we're gonna order some and play around with it, and see how they sell. We're gonna set up a dedicated section of the tanks for it. But I think it'll be good. I think it'll do well. So and they looked really like really good plants when I saw them. So I'm excited. Victoria says, "Oh, I didn't know that would work as fertilizer for houseplants." Yeah, believe it or not, most plant clippings will work as fertilizer. Of course, you have to let it break down naturally, but like things like your grass cuttings, the leaves, those all contain nutrients in there, and as they decompose, they'll break down and essentially be, um, you know, fertilizer. What's the nice thing about plant matter, and while it breaks down, is it's kind of almost like a slow release fertilizer. So you're not going to immediately get all the nitrogen from that plant that, it has been growing in there. But when you stick it in your, potted plant and let it decompose naturally, it'll eventually leach some of that nitrogen and all that good stuff from the leaves that are basically decaying back into the soil, and the plant, the house plant could utilize it, or your garden outside could utilize it. Obviously, outside would be best, but you could do it on an indoor house plant. So, I'm thinking of starting my first tank. I was wondering how adding plants from the start will affect the cycling of the tank and experience. So, White Bunny. Um, I've actually done a video on this topic, but I will give you a brief overview. Um, so when starting an aquarium, you can add in plants right away. It won't affect the cycle. It'll actually help to speed it up in a way, because when you introduce plants, especially like if you get plants from us, they're in our tanks, and they already have like a bio kind of how would you explain this? They have like a microbiome environment to them, basically. Like they already have bacteria growing on them. They have biofilm, and they have teeny tiny critters in them, and all that. So it's almost like seeding the aquarium with already like established stuff. And kind of like you hear people say you can use filter media from established tanks, and that helps kind of jumpstart your cycle. And plants will do it to a certain degree, obviously not as good as like just having pure filter media, but the plants will help introduce things more quickly into the aquarium, and probably help you get it started maybe even a week or two earlier that you could start adding fish. Obviously, always check your levels, but plants right off the bat are good to go. Plus, the good thing about adding plants right away, because when you add plants usually into your aquarium, you're going to get some melt back. And depending on the type of fish you have, and depending on your level of kind of experience with aquariums and or your maintenance schedule, some plants, when they melt off, the leaves are going to decay. They're going to increase the ammonia and nitrogen levels in the tank. So let's say you have a newly set up tank, you wait until it's established, and then you throw in the plants, and then you throw in the fish all at the same time. What's going to happen is the fish are going to be producing ammonia. The plants are going to be producing ammonia as they're decaying back and kind of adjusting to your tank, and then you're going to have kind of an ammonia spike, or it could be like a micro ammonia spike, and that, depending on the fish, could hurt the fish in some way. I mean, this is all like really um, like kind of specific circumstances. I mean, like you have to have really sensitive fish for it to really matter. But having the plants in right when you start the aquarium is just going to be that much better, because they're going to essentially start growing in and getting adjusted, and not have to wait till the fish are added in. So it's just really beneficial to start tanks with plants in them. Thank you for sharing, Jake. That's the only way I see the plant being sold. It's a small to medium sized sword plant. Yeah, the red Haiti pearls too that I was talking about are like the same. Like they're only like this big. They stay small. Approximately carpet of Monte Carlo and a 30-gallon on fluorite with no CO2. Approximately. I don't. Is that a question? Approximately carpet of Monte Carlo, and I mean you could definitely grow carpet. Are you asking how much you need to grow carpet? I'm a little confused. Thanks. I also wanted to ask about Oriental swords. I got one, and after it dropped a few leaves, a few grew back. New leaves started getting small brown splotches that turn into holes. Sounds like it could be a nutrient deficiency. That's typical with like if it was developing holes and it was I just kind of started doing that. Hold on, I'm trying to find the there's a actual um, there's a chart here. I'm gonna link it to you. So there is. So it could be magnesium or manganese. Either one could be causing that issue. I'm gonna link you a photo so you can check it out. That is a picture of plant deficiencies for anybody that's curious. It's really actually a good thing to note. But it sounds like it could just be a manganese or a magnesium deficiency, in which case, dose fertilizers. It's possible that it's just growing really quickly or developing roots that it's just absorbing everything out of the water, and possibly your water and or whatever you're feeding your fish is lacking that chemical or compound, basically. What's up, Full Moon Aquatics? How's it going? Ever go snorkeling in some of those rivers in Puerto Rico? All kinds of fishes and many different kinds of shrimp. I've ever seen the giant Malaysian prawn in a few of the rivers in PR. Unfortunately, I did not get to experience any rivers. We did go snorkeling out in, God, I can't remember the name, but it was a snorkel. We took a boat and they took us out into the water to like this little island, like this little tiny, micro island off the coast of Puerto Rico, and we went snorkeling there, which I got a really bad sunburn from afterwards. It was like day 3 of our trip, and we were there, I think, for 6 days or something like that. And the next day, like I had to sit like this, and I couldn't like move my arms. And what was even worse is that the couches at the place that we stayed at were leather, so like it was not good. Like I couldn't even move. I couldn't sleep. I got burned so bad, and it was just like I put on sunscreen, and I put on sunscreen, and I didn't think like it was overcast, so it wasn't even that bright out, and I just got pounded with the sun, I guess, and that was like the worst sunburn I've ever had. It was all over the place, and yeah, next time I'm going to reapply like every every like 20 minutes or something because it was horrible, absolutely horrible. But if I ever go back out to Puerto Rico, I would definitely like we went hiking, up this little trail in like the mountains of Puerto Rico. Like we drove up into this like little tiny narrow road that you can only fit one car at a time through, and we went hiking up there, but we didn't get too far because it was mostly cloudy and it wasn't raining, but it was like hazy. And we had all the kids with us, and kids only sometimes want to go so far before they get tired. So we had to turn back around. We didn't get too far into it, but I would love to check out like streams and see like the natural ecosystem. The one thing that I loved while I was there was seeing all the monsteras that were growing in the wild. For anybody that doesn't know, monstera is a house plant. It's called the Swiss cheese plant, and because it has basically holes in its leaves, and it's just a really amazing house plant. It's like the rage of Instagram for the last year or two, and there was just so many of them growing, and variegated ones at that. So it was just really cool. I'm like, damn, I need to get an export license so I could just like come over here, chop a bunch of them out, and take them, because I'm pretty sure they're. I mean, I don't know if they're native to Puerto Rico, but they're definitely invasive. Like they are growing like crazy over there. So I don't know if they're, totally destroying ecosystems over there or whatnot, but they're a crazy fast grower, that's for sure. Like you just see a tree, you'd see a really tall palm tree, and all the way around the bulk of the tree is just all these leaves from this monstera there. So it was crazy. So the 186 element says in the house. In the house. Are you in the house? What is up? What's going on? So this morning, no, what I was talking about in the beginning of the stream, for anybody that didn't come, at that time. Um, Nova woke up at like I went to bed at like 1 o'clock, I think, and Nova woke up literally like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, and would not fall back to sleep. She want like, and Margaret had to work too. She went to work early today, so she left the house literally like a half hour after she woke up, and so she's up, and like now I have to get up, and keep in mind I only slept for like an hour or two, and I'm like, all right, like let's lay down. She wouldn't lay down. Then she wanted to eat, so I fed her. And then she wanted water. She drank all her water, so then we had to come back downstairs. And I'm just like, why won't you go to sleep? So I am super tired because like after that I stayed up until like right before 6 o'clock, and then I fell asleep for like maybe an hour. What was it? I fell asleep. I think I woke up at like a quarter after 8. So I fell asleep like sometimes 6, and then woke up a quarter after 8. So I slept another 2 hours. And meanwhile, I have to be at work at 8, so I didn't get to work until 9:30. And I'm just like, baby, kept me up all night. Not good. I saw my first tiger shark snorkeling off a reef wall in Akosa Island, 4 miles from Fardo. Is that how you say that? Fardo? Fardo, maybe. I'm really bad at pronouncing Spanish words. But yeah, no, the so where we went snorkeling was really cool. But the just the waves, like where our particular boat was, it was hard for me to really get to the like the good spot where the reefs were. But I did manage to see a couple of things. It was cool. Like, it wasn't anything that crazy. It was fun though. I enjoyed it. You know, and it's like, even though like Puerto Rico is part of the United States, like I just thought it was cool because like as a child, I never went on vacations. Like I never got taken out of really probably the state of New York, and I was able to bring my stepson and Nova with us, and so I'm like, you're not you. I think well, it was for her 1 year old birthday, so I'm like, you're 1 years old and you've already gone on more trips. You're like pretty much. I mean, I've only been out of the country one other time, so I'm like, you're already halfway there to beating me, and I'm like just so glad that I could do those things with her. And I mean, she's one. She's not gonna remember it, obviously. We'll have, we have the pictures, but it's just nice. So I've seen people selling Monstera albino variegated cuttings for quite a lot of money online. Variegation seems to be super popular at the minute. Yes, if you have variegated plants, it is worth uh, worth growing them out. I actually bought one of those Monsteras, but I got the Thai Constellation. It's not the albino, which is, or yeah, the albo or albino, whatever they want to call it, which is a more white. The one that I have is more of a creamish color, and the few leaves that I had died back, but now it has like a new offshoot growing out of the rhizome. So I'm super happy about that because I was like, I spent like $100 on this thing and it's dying. So I have this aquatic plant that kind of looks like a short-ish stem silver pothos. I have no idea what it is. I forgot what it was, but I'm looking to get some more of it. Any idea what it could be? Not entirely sure, but if you want to shoot me a picture of it, I will definitely take a look at it and see if I can help you out there. I don't know without seeing a picture though. That's hard to tell you. Why is Boost so hard to find in local fish stores? Because Busa philandrid is actually probably going to be, if not already, I haven't actually seen it in a while, if it's on the endangered list. But between habitat loss due to palm oil and overharvesting because of the aquarium hobby, Busa philandrid is becoming highly, what's the word I'm looking for? Extinct, maybe? I mean, it's being over harvested like crazy because because of the hobby, and then also the palm oil plantations that are being set up in Borneo, I think, right? Yeah. Um, so it's difficult to find, and we don't stock too much Boost because we're only ordering it from one particular supplier that I know is growing them out in their greenhouse. Where a lot of people, when you buy it from hobbyists online, if you like watch what they sell and they're selling lots of booze, chances are they're ordering it from Indonesia and Borneo. And what's happening is the people over there are harvesting it right out of the wild and then just shipping it out to us, which they, I believe, recently put in some effects that will decrease that, but there's still ways around it. Like if I wanted to, I could order, a massive box of it and get it in, but I just don't want to do that because I feel it's bad, overall. It's hurting the environment. It's just not good, And so the people that are moving tons and tons of boosts, the odds are they're importing it that way, which is probably illegal. They probably don't have a permit for it, and and it's hurting the environment. So the ones that we sell, I know that the nursery that we get them from are growing them out in their tanks. And yeah, even Jake says you can tell the difference between wild boost and farm boost. You can definitely tell the difference. It's night and day difference. But that's also why it's really expensive. It's really hard to find because not a lot of people are growing it out and farming it. They're just harvesting it from the wild, and now it's becoming more and more difficult to find. So keep that in mind when buying boosts. Try and get it from sellers that are either growing it out in their aquariums. There's a couple good ones on Facebook. Obviously we have some. We have what we get are mixed pots, so it's a bunch of different little kinds that they stick in pots. So soon the boost is going to be extinct completely. President of Indonesia is going to be moving the capital to Borneo. Oh, that's not good. Sleep thieves. Maybe try a warm bath for the kiddo next time. Well, she just had a bath. That was the problem. Is like I gave her a bath at like 8 o'clock, and then she went to sleep, and then she woke up for I don't know what reason, but Jake's messaging me. Jake. So yeah, so those are my adventures. I think I'm gonna give it about another 15 minutes. I'm gonna finish up about 7:30 here, just because my head's starting to hurt. My head's starting to hurt. My whole shoulder, like I don't know what happened, but I slept wrong, and it's like all messed up. I put a heat pack on it all day today to try and like work out the joint, but it's not working. But yeah, Busa is a really like beautiful plant. I wish like it wasn't only found in Borneo. You know, I wish it was more readily available. It's such a great plant. It's super easy to grow. Let's see, my aquascaping journey. Hi from London, UK. My water is incredibly hard. I'm a beginner and I'm worried I won't be able to grow that many plants. What do you recommend? Well, I did recommend some earlier plants like Java Fern, Nubis, Water Spray, Water Lace, those kind of things. I don't know what's going to be available to you where you are in the UK. But what I would recommend to do is don't get a bunch of one plant, get a bunch of different plants. So buy like maybe 6 to 8 plants and see what grows. I mean, that's all it comes down to. Like, I have many different plants, but I have tanks where I'll throw in a bunch of different plants. I'll see what grows. What doesn't, I just, I don't really worry about it, and I just focus on what I can grow. Because everybody's water is different, everybody's tank conditions are different. It's not necessarily, um, you know, like your particular it's usually not something particular that you can control. Normally it's just something to do with your water is the reason why plants don't live, other than not having like the right light or something like that. But I enjoyed your live stream today. Thank you for sharing your passion and joy with us. You're welcome, Jose. Yeah, well, I still got 15 minutes, not going anywhere, but yeah. Also, a good way, my aquascaping journey, is to try and buy plants local to you because odds are they're using your same water. So if you, have a fish club, I don't know if, what you guys have out there, But if you have a fish club, maybe see if one's local to you within, I don't know, 20, 30 miles or from where you live, and see if you can get plants that way from other hobbyists, because the odds are they're using your same type of water and the plants should be able to grow in it. Shipping in the winter, is it the overnight lows that you worry about? So, Franklin, we've kind of mapped out the perfect shipping temperatures, and we know when to not ship an order out. So, um, winter is a lot easier than summer, I'd say, because summer, the ice packs only stay cold for so long. I mean, they are the ice packs that we use are medical grade, and they're actually meant for transporting human organs, like like blood samples or hearts or lungs, and keeping them iced for like 36 hours, I believe it is, or 36 or 48. It's something like that. I think it's like 48. But they still retain temperature even past that. So what we use is we use this aluminum foil kind of wrapping when we have to ship plants in extreme temperatures. Not every order gets it. Only orders that we determine are within a range of temperatures that need it. So we do that, and then we put the plants in there, and then we put the heat or the ice pack on the outside, and then that keeps that package kind of cool or hot depending on what it is. The nice thing about winter though now is now they actually have 96-hour heat packs, and while they're somewhat on the expensive side because they are a lot larger than the 72-hour ones, is that we'll get 4 solid days out of it. So usually what happens is you drop it off at the post office. You crack the heat pack right then and there, usually, because I'll usually do it once I get to the post office with the orders, and then shipping time pretty much for the entire United States, Alaska, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii, is 3 days, usually at max 4 if it's really pushing it. So like we have orders going on Alaska every once in a while. I think Nisi ordered from us, and she was worried about it, and I'm pretty sure they came in good. I didn't hear anything bad from her, so I'm hoping that they did come in good before I put my foot in my mouth. But yeah, so we use the heat pack, and it'll last and keep it warm until then. I don't know how other suppliers do it, but basically, like, if it's below freezing, you can't ship out, period, even with a heat pack. But there are certain temperatures that will still affect plants that you don't want it to get below. But freezing is kind of like you can't do it. Nisi says the aluminum foil packaging was a wonderful surprise. Not only does it help keeping the temps controlled, but looks stunning. Yeah. See, that's the beautiful thing about it, is like it once it's sealed up and you have the heat pack right against it. The thing is, like, you can't put the heat pack or the cold pack directly onto the plants. The reason being is, like, it'll literally cook or freeze the plant matter, and then it'll just die. So the idea is that the heat pack will slowly increase the temperature within that bubble wrap and keep that as a warm kind of package, or vice versa with the cold pack, and it'll keep it at a steady temperature versus just straight flash of heat or cold. So that's why we do it that way. And we've tested this. Like, we shipped to a good friend of ours, me and Jake, a good friend of ours out in California, and we shipped her 3 different packages, same exact plants, same exact day, all with different packing materials, and ones with heat pack or cold packs, ones without cold packs, and the cold packs really did make a difference. So it I bought from other plant stores before. They bent the plants in half to package them. Lame. You didn't do me dirty. Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that, Nisi. Yeah, sometimes we have large plants. We kind of have to bend them in a way to get them in, but usually we try and avoid that if possible. But I can understand that. But I'm glad you got the plants in well. So, what's up, Dave Rice? If anyone gets a chance to snorkel, dive in Pangaleo, is that how you say that? Bali, Philippines, do it. It's my wife's home island, and it's amazing. I'll have to keep that in mind. The Philippines seems like a really cool place to visit. Right now on my list, like, my next big trip that I want to do is Australia or New Zealand, one of the two. I really want to go see the Great Barrier Reef before it's all gone. And hopefully it's not all gone, but by the time I get there. So, and Dave Rice, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Really appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks for linking George Farmer's channel. George is great. I saw him at the Aquatic Experience. I didn't really get to talk to him that much. Did I do a live stream since when was the Aquatic Experience? The 12th. Yeah, we haven't done a live stream since the Aquatic Experience. It was really fun. I have to admit, it was a great show. We sold out of all of our rocks. That was great. I wanted to sell out of the rocks, and we did good. I've got boost growing like crazy in a tank with filter turned off, no fish for 2 years, just low lights and little fertilization on occasion. Yeah, boost is just a super easy plant. I mean, that's why it grows like in nature. Like you'll have a rock on the side of a river, and it'll just grow on that rock, and then every once in a while it'll flood, it'll get wet, and that's what it does. Victoria, if you want to shoot us a picture of the plant, send it on Facebook or Instagram, or email if you want, support@h2oplants.com, and I'll check it out. Shoot it to us on Instagram. I'll check it later. My aquascaping journey says I'm an avid watcher of George's videos, but George lives a great distance from me, and the water parameters differ significantly. Thanks, though. Yeah, I mean, your best bet is try local stores or local hobbyists to get your plants, and or tissue cultures. Tissue cultures, what's good about them is that they are kind of whatchamacallit, they're kind of grown in like a sterile environment, so they're not used to one way or the other. So they'll stand a really good chance of adjusting properly to your water. But it's just, you really just have to give it a try and see. Like I said, try a wide variety of plants. Just don't get like 10 Anubis and have them all die on you. Try like one Anubis, one stem plant, one Java fern, see what grows. And then you just go from there. If that one plant grows, great. Get another plant that's similar and see what happens. John Gonzalez with another $1.99 super chat. Thank you. Respect. Much love. Thank you for the super chats. That's really cool. Really appreciate it, guys. So we got a few more minutes. Vitro plants. Yeah, vitro plants are the tissue cultures. So they're the ones that come into like the little sealed pod, and you get a lot out of them usually, and they're good stuff. So they could do well. Bergen betas. Is this you, Victoria? Let's see. Yes. Let's see what. So that to me looks like. How long have you had that? Because that looks to me like an aluminum plant. And I don't know if that is going to... Yeah, that looks like an aluminum plant, Victoria. So an aluminum plant, if you look it up, I think it's also... What is the name? Pelia? Is that aluminum plant? Pilea, I think is how you pronounce it. Yeah. So that's actually not a fully aquatic plant. It will grow underwater for some time, but it will eventually start to die back as it's not truly aquatic. But what you could do with it is grow it up out of the water. So I tell a lot of people, like, picture this as a clay pot, right? You could drill like a hole in the clay pot and put a suction cup, and then suction cup it to the side of your aquarium, fill it with dirt, and then you can grow the plant up out of the pot from the aquarium. And you could do that with that plant, the aluminum plant, because it likes wet roots. It likes the bottom of the plant to be wet, and it likes high humidity, but it will eventually need to be exposed to the air. It does not like to be fully submerged. So just like that's a little tip, if you want to try that to help grow that plant. But it's really a pretty plant. If you're looking for something that is similar to that, you could try stuff like water sprite or water wisteria. Those are similar looking plants. They don't have the white to them. That is the that's specific to the aluminum plant. They do have water wisteria variegated, which is very similar. However, very rare to find usually. Not crazy rare, but it is rare. So I would try those. Noah says, "What's your favorite bulb plant?" Well, me, I'm all for. I have two. I have the red tiger lotus, which is like my favorite. Other than Ludwigia SP red, is my favorite red plant. It's so beautiful the way it looks, with its like dots on its leaves and the purpley and pink color that it can get. But the other favorite bulb plant would be the Madagascar lace. But a lot of the bulb plants I really like just because they're very unique looking and you know they're not like every other plant. Like they're very pronounced plants. So um, all of them are just really good. I really enjoy them. So, but definitely Madagascar lace and red tiger lotus are my two favorites. What's up, Walter? We got the puppy here with us. Puppy. What's going on, puppy? Are those highlight? No, either one could work great in a low light environment. So I would definitely look them up. Of course, Madagascar at least would like higher light a bit more, but Red Tiger Lotus is definitely low light. Oh, you like the pets. You like the pets. Um, so yeah, those are both good. What cichlids keep well with plants? That's a tough one. Cichlids, depending on the size and the breed, is really tough. Um, you can try you could try like shell dwellers because they stay small, and if you start growing plants before you introduce them, it'll be a lot harder for them to really like like dig them up and whatnot. But bigger cichlids that get bigger are going to be tough. You just want big plants with big leaves. So like sword plants, apongeton plants that get really big leaves. This is starting to hurt my ear. Ah, those are really good. What's up, puppy? Oh, thank you. That explains why I lost one leaf by leaf. Any recommendation fertilizer to specifically add phosphates? So I would recommend my own fertilizer. Of course, it is all in one. It has everything in one bottle as opposed to buying like six different bottles just to get different things. But if you need to just specifically phosphate, there are like Seachem has a line with just specifically phosphate in it. But like I said, ours is all in one. It has everything. It has everything that your plants are going to need all in one bottle. So it's a lot better. It's a lot better for your wallet too because you don't have to buy like six different bottles. You get everything in one. Thanks, Justin. Got to make dinner. Have a good night, everyone. You too. Well, with that said, we were actually at time. It is 7:30, and I am ready to crash into bed. So, guys, I want to thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. Thank you again for the super chats. It really means a lot. I will be back in 2 weeks, and that will be. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Where's the calendar? That'll be the 6th of November. Hope to see you guys there. Yeah, I will see you on the next live stream. So, everyone, have a great rest of your week, and happy Halloween if I don't see you.